Oh, so this weekend, if you didn't know, I was in Georgia. Last time we went, it was basically just to it's testing a lot of shit. I have to figure out like what works, what doesn't work, how to like do anything, because this is my first time in this world, obviously. The last time we went, it was just like basically like voter registration stuff. And this time we went, we actually had a group of people that we partnered with, and we went and we knocked on doors or whatever. I don't remember the final count of people that showed up, but I think by the end of it, I think we knocked on about like 2,000 doors. I think we'd gotten like 200 signs about like posted in yards and shit. And yeah, that's what we did last weekend, which was fun. I personally went out and knocked on a bunch of doors, and yeah, it was good times. Most interesting questions you're kind of knocking doors. Well, so most of it was like registered Democrats. Well, all of them were registered Democrats, but basically the goal was to ask people if they were voting. Found out if they are voting, if they're voting for both Ossoff and Warnock, because some people will support only Warnock and not Ossoff, and then figuring out if they'd voted yet, or if they plan on voting, how they plan on voting, so whether or not they're doing early voting, or if they're going to request a mail-in ballot or whatever, kind of like that kind of stuff, basically. It wasn't like it wasn't combative canvassing, which I don't think is the plan for the particular group that we're with. I don't think that they deal in that type of data. It's mainly just knocking on doors and making sure people understand a runoff election is coming up, and then encouraging them to vote or figuring them out how they voted and then marking that down, basically. Why would they not support Ossoff at this point? I mean, Ossoff kind of comes off as like an upgraded version of Pete Buttigieg, whereas like Warnock is like a pretty strong pick, given his background and everything. In Atlanta, Ossoff is much more of a newcomer and a little bit more abrasive. So, did you also explain the importance of the runoffs? Yeah, occasionally. Most of the people that we knocked on this time were like pretty friendly. Sometimes somebody would say like, oh yeah, like I'm definitely voting for Warnock, but I don't know about Ossoff. So then you talk to them a little bit like, oh, well, anything that Warnock wants to do in the Senate, he's going to need Ossoff's vote to do it, stuff like that. I don't know if we would ever go to persuade Republican voters. I don't know if that's like a normal canvassing activity. But right now, the people whose data sets that we're working off of are like an offshoot of like a Yang group. So we're kind of like working with them. And for them, it's I keep jumping around. Oh, this. And for them, it's like registered Democrats are who we're voting on. People that voted for Obama in the 2008 election. Wait, oh God, when was Obama in office? Was it 2000 to 2008? No, it was 2008 to 2016. It was for people that voted for Obama in like 2012 and stuff. Are the people that, and then 2016 to 2020 was Trump. Holy shit, where are the years going? Yeah, people that have voted for Obama in the past is who we're looking at, yeah. Will you address the rumors that you refuse to pay for voter data? Oh, okay. I guess I can go over we can go over all of that now. So initially what had happened, I was trying to protect some people for, but I don't care as much anymore, fuck it. So initially what had happened was I gave we did our very first meetup where I just saw how many people I could get to turn out in Atlanta. And in doing that event, a couple people from the Atlanta chapter of the DSA approached me and was like, hey, we think that what you're doing is cool. Like, if you want, you can chat with us later. And then maybe we can talk about working together. It wasn't like, so I don't know if I gave this impression. It wasn't like an official, like, here's a letter from the DSA to like invite you to formally work. It wasn't anything like that. But yeah, we talked with them for a while, and then things fell through with them. But I mean, like, I'm not super surprised about that. I think I was annoyed. I expressed some annoyance about that on stream. A little bit of that I think was probably due to a little bit of miscommunication between behind the scenes. But regardless, I expressed annoyance with that. I don't really know if the DSA plans to, or I wouldn't expect them to. It doesn't like super irritate me that they didn't. I wouldn't expect them to based on everything that's happened. I just got annoyed that they called me a Nazi. But yeah, the whole DSA stuff was ultra super duper and unbelievably overblown. Like, they got, when they called me a Nazi, then it was kind of like the gloves are off. But but in terms of like the DSA not wanting to work with me or whatever, I don't care. In terms of me not paying for voter data, I mean, I'd like to avoid that if I could, of course. That's like a benefit of working with other people. But it's not like I refuse to do that. My guess would be that by the end of all of this, I'll probably have sunk about $20,000 into this effort. To buy the lists and the software for the voter data would probably be like another, I think, anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000, which I can do it. It's not like the biggest deal in the world, but if somebody already has that voter data and I can work off of like other people's lists and work alongside them for that, like, I don't know, it just saves me money. But it's not a deal breaker for me. I know that like the budgets and the money that people are used to working with might be different. Maybe people think that like, oh, he's just trying to avoid buying the data. It's like, well, I mean, I can buy the data if I want to, but obviously if somebody else has a list that they're not going to be able to run or that they need more people to work off of, why the fuck would I buy my own? Like, doesn't make sense. Yeah. Why is that shit so expensive? I don't actually know. I need to talk a little bit more about what you pay for. If it's the data or the data in list form or what, but it's a little richer under so much scrutiny from fucks around engagement politics at all different tweets. Oh yeah. What else? Have you heard of Salesforce? Is what we use for the burner camp. We were using an app called Minivan, which is it's a really cool app, but basically it helps you load a bunch of lists onto people's phones. They can go out and knock on doors, and then they can record the responses, and if people are home, and if they're enthusiastic for candidates, et cetera, et cetera. Do you see yourself organizing as mostly providing people to work with other orgs? I'm not 100% sure yet. I don't know what my end goal is. Like I said, it all depends on like how many people at the end of the day that I can turn out. The turnout last time was okay, although it could be better. But the basically the goal is I'm trying to see I'm trying to see with more notice if I can get people to come next time. Like the communication and everything is like really bad, or has been really bad up to this point. But I'm being a little bit more hands-on with that now. So hopefully. How do you feel about your efforts so far? I think everything has been a lot of it is just like a learning experience so far. What would you say would be your best objective metric for success once this is over? I don't know. A lot of people go by doors knocked. I feel like if I'm better organized, I think next time, I think over the course of a weekend, I think we could legitimately knock on 10,000 doors over the weekend, which is cool. I think there are, I want to say there are around 600,000 registered voters in Columbus. I'm sorry, did I say 600,000? I meant 200,000. No, wait, what was it? Was it 600? I think it was 200,000. There's 200,000 registered voters. So if we were to manage to knock on 10,000 doors, that would be like 0.5% of all registered voters. I didn't think it's interesting. If we could knock on 20,000 doors by the end of it all, then that would be like 1% of all registered voters knocked in that city, which would be cool. Yeah. Can you go through and ban all the people being cringe on Twitter? That person made the video. She was nice. If you're dealing with total and absolute strangers on Twitter, so some lady saw people that were canvassing. So this is the saga of Afro. What was her name? It was like Afrosabi or something. What the fuck am I? What was her name on Twitter? Oh no, wait. If it's 200,000, right? I'm sorry. Wait. Oh, I was actually wrong. If there were 200,000 registered voters in Columbus and we knocked on 20,000 doors, that would actually be 10% of all registered voters. That would be sick as fuck. I don't think I have. Oh yeah, this. I thought this was really cute.
Hey, so sorry about my voice. I have to scream because I'm standing 10 feet away from people and also have a mask on, so like my voice is like steadily declining, and I'm sweating because it's kind of warm out here, which I like. But I just wanted to relay something really interesting. So I saw someone canvassing and I didn't know who it was. It could have been like GOP, but I was like, hey, are you canvassing? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, who are you canvassing with? And like he didn't know what to say, right? Because once again, interesting. So some guy or whatever, I've never heard of this. Maybe you guys can look it up and tell me about it. His name is destiny.gg or d.gg. And he flew in from California and he's like a popular gamer or something. I'm not sure. And he told people to join him here to knock for Ossoff and Warnock. And so there's all these young gamers in my town right now knocking doors for Warnock and Ossoff that like I guess no one knows of. And they're like, oh my God, they're so young, like early 20s. And they're really geeky and nerdy-ish. And I mean, they're just like, I don't know what to say, but it's been really nerve-wracking because like I've been at this for 3 hours and I usually don't get out of my house and I'm scared. And I'm just like, you are doing so well. You are, I am so proud of you. And they're all out of their comfort zone. They've come around from all over, and I just wanted to shout out destiny.gg because they are out here doing the work.
I thought this was really cute. So this lady, unfortunately, after tweeting this, because I think some people caught wind of it, and they said that, oh, cool. They started tweeting positives in response, and then apparently Lefty started like DMing her, like, well, actually, Destiny's a Nazi, so you should be really ashamed of blah blah blah. And then so she went back and forth a while with a bunch of people on Twitter, which was a little bit disappointing. But I think at the end of the day, I think she was happy with what we were doing, which is cool. But yeah, that was that whole saga. I had a whole bunch of stone. I don't know where the fuck I put it. If you considered making a video addressing some of the stuff that normies like the Afrosabi girl see when you look you up, similar response. I don't know if it even matters. Oh, and then I guess later on, I guess somebody in our community caught that she had like started some donation thing or whatever, and I guess her goal was to raise like $100 for some. I think the joke was for her to drink or whatever, for her some local chapter of the Atlanta people. And apparently people in my community got the link and they started spam donating, and they got like over $3,000 donated, and their goal initially was $100. So that was pretty cool too. Good job, guys. Okay, how well is Kevin go? You consider doing something similar for 2022? So I think that the ultimate goal, I think something that would be like really fun is, depending on how many people I could mobilize, I think the cool thing would be that I think it's possible that we could have like a meaningful impact, like depending how many people we get out, that we could be like a deciding, wait, absolutely no way, Destiny. Wait, you don't think there's any way that Biden would have fired Barr? You think that Biden would have kept Barr in? I think it would be really cool if we could be like participating in some local election where our presence might possibly be like the deciding factor. Oh, no way would he keep Barr. Gotcha. Oh. So when I say that, there are certain local people that we've talked to that have been so incredibly fucking cool, and that would be like awesome if we could mobilize to help those people. So I'm very specifically thinking about, you remember that one lady that was running for the school board in it was in Florida, some part of Northwest Florida. I don't remember the district, but like she was like a nobody, came out of nowhere, didn't really have much funding, and she actually got close-ish. I want to say it was within 10 points? Like she joined late, she had no funding. Does anybody remember her name? Jessica Harrington, Florida. What were these election results? Maybe it was way further away. Hold on. Oh yeah. So she entered like the last week possible. She had like really shitty funding. Yeah, and she got within 10 points. So it's still like kind of far, but like, so like an 8,000 vote difference in the general election, like we can knock on more than 8,000 doors. I know that I can in Florida, 1,000,000%. Not to say that we could necessarily turn every voter, but like that, being able to provide like that type of help to people, I don't know, I think that would be really cool, right? This is House of Representatives, Destiny, not school board. Wait, was it? Was this, or I'm sorry. This is for the Florida House of Representatives, it wasn't the school board, but it's not the federal Congress. It's for the Florida Congress. Sorry. But she was a teacher, yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna unpause donuts for a sec. Oh,
hey Destiny, I just want to say thanks for de-radicalizing me from the far left and the far right. It was a rough road for me, but I now realize that both sides are bad and the center is the way to go. Fuck the SJWS and fuck the alt-right.
Nice one. Okay. Have you ever thought about officially organizing with other political content creators in the future? So this is something that I considered in the beginning. The reason why I didn't, ironically enough, was because of a lot of stuff that went on with the DSA people. I just don't really want to risk any drama. I don't want there to be big arguments like, oh, well, where should we go? Well, who's in charge? Well, who gets the credit? Or blah, blah, blah. I just want to make a small but meaningful difference in this election cycle. That's like literally all I want to do. And I'm really worried that inviting other content creators in, this isn't like, I'm not calling out like Vosh or Hassan's community or anybody like that. I'm not saying that it's like particular to any person. I don't want any part, and I'm kind of sad that it happened with the DSA shit. I don't want like any part of this thing to be like a drama machine, or like an opportunity for like YouTubers or streamers to like flex on each other, or like get into fights over shit. Like I just don't want any of that going on. So that's why I'm trying to avoid like in this particular plan, I don't want to like work with streamers or whatever on any of it. Yeah. If you stream canvassing a little, you can probably raise a lot of money for the canvassing. Maybe. It feels kind of weird, like, recording people. Like, people are already kind of a little bit sketched out when you, like, go to their door. Like, a lot of people aren't like I feel like a Mormon, like knocking on every door. Like you feel kind of weird doing it. I don't know how comfortable they'd be if you're like walking around with like a camera and shit too. You know. Have you thought about doing change my mind stuff style videos in Georgia? Might be fun. Maybe. Have a camera stand at the intersection. We'll go up to the block and report the results to the cameras after. I don't know if that would be good content. I think it would be really, really, really boring. And I think it also might inadvertently like attract a lot of like bad attention too. Like people could troll streams like that like really hard, like calling the cops and shit on you. Like I don't know if that would be productive. Hold on, let me unpause down a second. Crowder does it too. Are you saying he doesn't plan it? Wait, what? Crowder doesn't live stream it. Crowder always does that in advance and then. What were the big anti-COVID measures you took while canvassing? I mean, basically, as long as you wear a mask and you're keeping distance from people, you should be fine. So for canvassing, it's like you ring the doorbell, knock on the door, you take like a few steps back, and then you just talk to them when they come to the door, basically. So somebody asked, how did you decide which people would canvass where? Hold on, let me pause a second.
Ye wins again.
So basically, there's a software called Van. And basically what the software does is it allows you to create these huge lists of doors that you can knock on. And then what you do is you have people at these individual events will like get a list number, they enter it into their phone, and then you'll get like a block that you can go basically knock on doors at. And then you can record on the software, you know, which way did they say they would vote? How are they planning on voting? You know, who was home, stuff like that. Was there any negative experiences while you were canvassing? Any slammed doors or threats? No, I don't think anybody reported any negative experiences at all, actually. Every now and then you'll come up to a door of somebody that like doesn't really want to talk, or they'll say like, I don't want to share my vote with you, but like I don't think there were any negative experiences. I didn't have any. I think I did about 100 doors with a friend. Oof, I walked a lot. Holy shit. Guys, if you're ever looking for some fucking easy cardio, I walked 8 miles yesterday. Some of that was at the airport, to be fair. I walked a little over 5 miles the day before. That's a lot for a streamer guy like me, okay? Should you keep a list of everyone who said, I don't want to share a vote with you? I think usually you would mark those down in minivan as like that they either refused or didn't want to share or whatever. There's like little markings for everybody. Do you think your canvassers come off as less threatening because they're all soy beta gamers? I don't know. Anybody could come off as more threatening or less threatening. Like, I guess it depends. But good one, dude. You need to collect much more data from this event, unless Doug says he's already... I don't know what more data you think I should collect, but... Is the data collected shared with other organizations? So I think the lists themselves come from Ossoff's campaign, and then I think that we report back the information to Ossoff's campaign, I believe is how it works. Like all the doors that we knock on and then the response we get from the voters, I think is shared back with that campaign. I think they ultimately, control the data. You guys only knock on registered Dems in predominantly registered Dem areas. I've never gotten my door knocked. Is that because I'm predominantly a conservative neighborhood? I don't know if it matters. I don't know. I can't speak to anything outside of what, like the very specific experience that I had with this. I can't say. Yeah. Did the script/questions come from the campaign? Yeah, basically. I think that, let's see, what was the script? I think basically you walk up to a door and you say, hey, I'm a volunteer from voter outreach. I'm here on behalf of Ossoff and Warnock to see if we can count on your vote for, or no, it was, the first one was, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of the upcoming runoff election. And then if they'd said yes or no, then based on that, you'd be like, oh, well, can Ossoff and Warnock depend on your vote? And then if they say like yes for Warnock and no for Ossoff, then you like would read a little bit about like, oh, well, if you're concerned with, you could either talk about issues like, oh, well, if you're concerned about healthcare or jobs or the coronavirus response or marijuana, or you could like say like, oh, well, if you're a supporter of Warnock, Ossoff's vote is going to be very important in Congress for his agenda to be passed. And then from there, you'd ask them like, oh, cool. Well, I see that you plan on voting for these guys. Have you voted already? If they said yes, then you'd say like, oh, so by absentee. And then if they say no, you're like, do you plan on voting early or do you plan on voting on the day of? You just basically like are collecting all this information for the campaign so that they have access to it, I guess. And then they do more data analysis with it later, I guess. Do you tell them that you are collecting the data for the campaign? I mean, I don't think we explicitly tell them that, but we literally are like marking down their answers on our phones. So, I mean, I would imagine they would probably understand that. In terms of like when you see people on Twitter that are getting negative impressions of me because people are, oh my God, this person is so fucking based. I'm sure my Jewish friends will correct me if I'm out of pocket, but just because someone has said a few N-words in the past doesn't make them a Nazi. They have to have several serious layers on top of that. Y'all out here really minimizing, trivializing that word. Ooh, damn. Holy shit. Don't do stuff like this. This is cringe, okay? If somebody has a negative impression of you, usually the best thing that you can do is to just be like really positive. Is there any way to have is there any ways you have considered counteracting the lefty attacks and doing IRL stuff and trying to get meaningful change done? I think when it comes to the Georgia stuff, I'm hoping, I guess I could be wrong, but I'm hoping at some point it'll like speak for itself. Day 9 mentioned a story where, I don't know if he's read the sacred text, about, winning people over or whatever. But, something that he brought up that was very true was that like, if somebody tells you something very negative about something, Chiselstone Celtic. If somebody tells you something very negative about something, oh wait, I have a lot of this already. Don't argue with them. Just like be obnoxiously positive, and it's usually like a better result. So like, for instance, I think Day 9 would mention that like, he might say something about like, oh, like I play StarCraft 2 or whatever. And then somebody would be like, ooh, StarCraft 2? Like, that's RTS. Isn't that shit boring as fuck? Like, those games are like so lame now. And, like, the temptation is like, oh no, actually it's high skill, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, you're wrong, blah, blah. But instead of being like that, like his response would always just to be like relentlessly positive. Like, oh shit, like StarCraft 2 is actually like really cool. Like, I think you'd enjoy it. Or, no, it's actually like really awesome that, you know, you can do all these different things and blah, blah, blah. Like, usually he would just be like very positive when discussing it. And he wouldn't try to like fight people over it or argue over it. And that's generally like a decent way to like combat somebody being very negative. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed. Pump it up.